Hello everyone, I am Sandeep Kumar Singh, Senior Assistant Professor, School of Pharmacy, Babu Banarsidass University, Lucknow. Today I am here to represent my views about very fascinating and important topic of biopharmaceutics and pharmacokinetics, that is the protein binding of drugs. The content of my presentation is in introductory part, then what are the mechanisms of protein drug binding, next is the tissue binding of drugs, then determination of protein drug binding, and the last is factors affecting the protein drug binding. I would like to start with the introductory part of my presentation. Basically, a drug in the body can interact with several tissue components, of which two major categories. First is the blood, and the second is the extravascular tissues. Basically, the interacting molecules are generally macromolecules such as the proteins, DNA, or adipose. The proteins are particularly responsible for the interaction with the drug molecule. Hence, the phenomena of complex formation of drug with the protein is called as the protein binding of drug. Basically, protein-bound drug is neither metabolized nor excreted, hence it is the pharmacologically inactive due to its pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic inertness. Basically, when the protein is bound with the drug, then it is from the reversible protein drug complex. Basically, the protein binding may be divided into two categories. The first is the intracellular binding, and the second is the extracellular binding. In case of the intracellular binding, the drug is bound to a cell proteins which may be the drug receptor. If so, binding show a pharmacological response. These receptors with which drug interact to show response are called as the primary receptors. That is known as the intracellular binding. In case of the extracellular binding, when the drug binds to the extracellular protein, but the binding does not usually show a pharmacological response. These are known as the secondary or silent receptors. The most important extracellular proteins or silent receptors are plasma protein, in particular albumin. The binding of such protein is important from the viewpoint that the bound drug is both pharmacokinetically as well as pharmacodynamically inert. An extracellular protein bound drug is neither metabolized nor excreted nor it is active pharmacologically. A bound drug is also restricted since it remains confined to a particular tissue for which it has greater affinity. Moreover, such a bound drug, because of its enormous size, cannot undergo membrane transport and thus its half-life is increased. Hence, the application of protein binding, basically protein binding helps to drug distribution, metabolism, excretion, drug action and sustained release of the drug. Now comes on the mechanism of protein drug binding. Basically, binding of drug to a protein is generally reversible, which suggests that it generally involves weak chemical bond. Uh, it may be the irreversible, but most of case it is the reversible. The generally reversible involves the weak chemical bonds such as the hydrogen bond, hydrophobic bonds, ionic bonds, and van der Waals forces. The irreversible drug binding, which occur rarely, arise a result of covalent binding or it often a reason for the carcinogenicity or tissue toxicity of a drug. When the drug is bound irreversible with the proteins of the body, then it causes the tissue toxicity. And the main reason for the irreversible binding is generally the covalent binding. Closure diagram represent the protein drug binding of drug to various tissue components and its influence on disposition and clinical response. We know that the only unbound drug move reversibly between the compartment. Here, when the drug is bind to the blood component, maybe the blood cells or plasma protein, which are then reversibly bind, then is freely drug is available for the tissue as well as for the metabolism, where then it is bind to the receptor, so the pharmacological response, or when the drug is bind to the liver proteins, ठीक है, then or by the then by the help of enzymes it is metabolized and further excreted, as well as protein bind drug is free to form the drug and carriers drug is further excreted via urine. Continue with the next slide. Basically, the binding of drug falls into two clauses: binding of drug to blood component like plasma protein or blood cells, or binding of the drug to the extravascular tissue proteins, fats, bones, etc. etc. Of all type of binding, basically the plasma protein binding is the most significant and most widely studied because plasma protein binding is occur in main way. When the drug is enter into the system in circulation, the first thing with which it can interact that is the blood component, like plasma proteins, blood cells, hemoglobins. The main interaction of drug in the blood component is with the plasma proteins, which are present in the abundant amount and large variety. The binding of drug to plasma protein is reversible and the extent of order of binding of drug to various plasma proteins is different. Basically, the drug is highly bound to the albumin, then alpha 1 acid glycoprotein, followed by the lipoproteins, and the last is globulins. Now comes on the binding of drug to the human serum albumin. See, the human serum albumin having a molecular weight of 65,000 is the most abundant plasma protein. Almost 59% of total plasma is albumin with a large drug binding capacity, as well as the therapeutic dose of most drugs are relatively much smaller and their plasma concentration do not normally reach equimolar concentration with the human serum albumin. The human serum albumin can bind several compounds having varied structures, both endogenous compounds such as fatty acids, bilirubin, and tryptophan, as well as the drug bind to the human serum albumin. A large variety of drugs ranging from weak acid neutral compound to weak base bind to the human serum albumin. Basically, four different sites on human serum albumin for the binding of the drug. The site first, also called as warfarin, azopropazone binding site. It represents the region to which large number of drugs are bounded, such as uh, NSAIDs like naproxen, indomethacin, as well as sulfonamides, drugs such as sulfamethoxazole, phenytoin, sodium valproate, and bilirubin. The second site is the site second, that is known as the diazepam binding site. Drugs which bind to this region include benzodiazepines, medium chains fatty acid, ibuprofen, ketoprofen, extra. Now side third, basically side third is also called as a digitoxin binding site, and the side fourth is called as the tamoxifen binding site. A very few drugs bind to the side third and side fourth of the human serum albumin. A drug can bind to more than one site, in which case the main binding site is called as the primary site and the other is the secondary. For example, site first is the primary site for the dicomarol and site second is the secondary site. Groups of drugs that bind to the same site compete with each other for binding, but drugs that bind to the one site do not competitively inhibit the binding of other sites for the drug. Now comes on the binding of drug to the alpha 1 acid glycoprotein. This is also called as the orosumoquide. It has a molecular weight of 44,000 Dalton and a plasma concentration range of 0.04 to 0.1 gram percentage. It's bind to a number of basic drugs like imipramine, nortriptyline, lidocaine, propranolol, quinidine. Comes on the binding of drug to lipoproteins. Basically, binding of drug to human serum albumin and alpha 1 acid glycoprotein involve hydrophobic bond. Since only lipophilic drug can undergo hydrophobic bonding, and lipoproteins can also bind to such drug because of their high lipid content. However, the plasma concentration of lipoprotein is much less as compared to the human serum albumin and alpha 1 acid glycoproteins. A drug that bind to the lipoprotein does so by dissolving in the lipid core of the protein, and thus its capacity to bind depend upon its lipid content. Basically, lipid cores are composed of inside triglyceride, cholesterol esters, and outside is apoproteins. These are also non-competitive binding, and the example for the binding of the lipoproteins are the acidic drug like diclofenac, neutral for the cyclosporine A, and for the basic is the chlorpromazine. These are the types of the lipoproteins: VLDL, HDL, LDL, and chylomicrons. Basically, chylomicrons, these are the least dense and largest in size. The VLDL represent the very low density lipoproteins, and LDL, these are the low density lipoproteins which are predominant in humans, and HDL represent the high density lipoproteins. These are most dense and smallest in size. The binding of drugs to lipoproteins is non-competitively, means there are no specific or non-specific binding site, and binding is not depend on the drug concentration. The binding rather reflects the partitioning of drug in the hydrophobic core of lipoprotein molecules. Basically the main physiological role of lipoprotein is circulation of lipid to tissue through the blood. Similarly, lipoproteins also play an important role in the transport of drug to the tissues. So basically, most of the drugs which are hydrophobic in nature are transported by the lipoproteins to the tissue. Comes on the binding of drug to the globulins. Basically, several plasma globulins have been identified, and these are labeled as the alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2, and gamma globulins. Basically, the alpha 1 globulins, also called as the transportin or CBG, corticosteroid binding globulin. It's bind a number of steroidal drugs such as cortisone and prednisolone. Alpha 2 globulin, also called as the ceruloplasmin, it's bind basically vitamin A, D, E, and vitamin K, as well as the cupric ions. Beta 1 globulins, also called as the transferrin, and it's bind to the ferrous ions. Beta 2 globulins bind to the corticosteroids, and gamma globulins are bind especially to the antigens. This is the tablet form of the different globulins, and they are binding to the drug. Now comes on the binding of drug to the blood cells. In case of blood, approx 40% of blood cells, of which the major component is RBC, and the RBC constitutes the 90%, 95% of the total blood cells, and thus significant RBC drug binding is possible. The red blood cell is 500 times in diameter as major plasma protein binding component like albumin. The RBC comprises of three components, each of which can bind to the drug, that are the hemoglobin, carbonic anhydrase, and cell membrane. Basically, the rate and extent of entry into the RBC is more for the lipophilic drug. Hemoglobin. It has a molecular weight approximately 64,500 Dalton, and the drug like the phenytoin, pentobarbital bind to the hemoglobin. Basically, the hemoglobin is the 7 to 8 times the concentration of albumin in blood, and its molecular weight is almost equal to the human serum albumin. Now comes on the carbonic anhydrase. The drugs known to bind to it are acetazolamide and chlorothiazidone, like carbonic anhydrase inhibitors. Now comes on the cell membrane. Imipramine and chlorpromazine are reported to bind with the RBC membrane. It has been shown that the rate and extent of entry into RBC is more for lipophilic drugs such as phenytoin. Hydrophilic drugs like ampicillin do not enter the RBC. Now comes on the binding of drug to the extravascular tissue proteins. Basically, tissue localization of drugs. The body tissue, apart from human serum albumin, comprises 40% of the body weight, and which is 100 times than the human serum albumin. Hence, tissue drug binding is the much more significant than thought to be. Basically, a drug can bind to one or more of the several tissue components. The tissue binding is important in distribution from two viewpoints. Basically, it increases the apparent volume of distribution of drug in contrast to plasma protein binding, which decreases it. This is because the parameter is related to the ratio of amount of drug in the body to the plasma concentration of free drug, and the latter is decreased under condition of extensive tissue binding of the drug. Basically, it is also help for the localization of drug at a specific site in the body. This is more so because the number of drug binding are irreversible with the tissue in contrast to plasma protein drug binding. For example, oxidation product of paracetamol, phenylacetin, chloroform, carbon tetrachloride, and bromobenzene bind covalently to the hepatic tissue. The basic binding order for the drug with the tissue are the liver, followed by the kidney, then lungs, and last is the muscles. Basically, livers are in case of drug bind to the liver tissue are the irreversible binding. In case of the halogenated hydrocarbons and paracetamol. In case of the drug bind with the lungs, basically for the basic drug imipramine, chlorpromazine and antihistaminic drug. As when we compare the binding of drug with plasma protein as well as the tissue, the plasma protein drug binding involves the weak bond and thus reversible, but in case of the tissue drug binding, the binding generally involves the strong and covalent bond are formed, which are irreversible in nature. As well as drugs that bind to the plasma protein have a small apparent volume of distribution, but drugs that bind to the extravascular tissue have the large apparent volume of distribution. The half-life of plasma protein bound drug is relatively short as well as, but in case of the half-life of the extravascular tissue bound drug is relatively long. It does not result in toxicity, but in case of the tissue binding, it causes the common toxicity. The displacement from binding site is possible by other drugs, but in case of the tissue binding, the displacement by other drugs generally does not occur. The competition between the drug for binding to plasma protein can occur, but tissue drug binding is generally the non-competitive. Now comes on the determination of protein binding of drug. Basically, the analytical technique used in the protein binding studies, which can be divided into two categories. First is the indirect technique, and second is the direct technique. In case of the indirect techniques, basically it is based on the separation of bound from the free micromolecules. These techniques are usually applied in biological samples such as blood, serum, or plasma for the determination of percentage of binding. Uh, the basic method for the determination of protein binding by the indirect technique are the charcoal absorption method, equilibrium dialysis methods, and ultracentrifugation method. In case of direct technique which do not require the separation of bound form of drug from the free macromolecules, these methods are used for the estimation of number and the elucidation of the character of binding site in pure aqueous solution of proteins. This is in case of the direct technique used for protein binding study are the UV spectroscopy and ion selective electrodes as well as the fluorimetry technique. Now comes on the factors affecting the protein drug binding. Basically, the different factors are affect the protein drug binding that like drug related factors, protein tissue related factors, drug interactions and patient related factors. Now basically in case of the first we start with the drug related factors. The drug related factors are further characterized into the three factors such as the physicochemical characteristic of drug, concentration of drug in the body, and the affinity of drug for a particular binding component. Physicochemical characteristic of a drug. Basically, the protein binding is directly related to the lipophilicity of the drug. An increase in lipophilicity interaction has increased the lipophilicity of the drug, it increases the binding to the proteins. For example, the slow absorption of chlorzoxyline in comparison to the ampicillin after IM injection is attributed to its higher lipophilicity and the larger 95% binding to the protein, while the latter is less lipophilic and just 20% bonding up to the proteins. The highly lipophilic drugs such as the thiopental tend to localize in adipose tissue. The anionic or acidic drugs such as the penicillin and sulfonamides bind more to the human serum albumin, whereas the cationic or basic drugs such as imipramine bind to the alpha aminoglobulins. And neutrous unionized drugs generally bind more to the lipoproteins. Now comes on the concentration of drug in the body. Alteration in the concentration of drug molecule as well as the protein molecule of a surface subsequently brings the alteration in the protein binding process. While the concentration of drug that bind to the human serum albumin does not have much of an influence as the therapeutic concentration of any drug is insufficient to saturate it. However, therapeutic concentration of lidocaine can saturate the alpha aminoglobulins with which it's bind. Now comes on the third factor, that is the affinity of drug for a particular binding component or protein tissue affinity. Basically, this factor entirely depend upon the degree of attraction or affinity with the protein molecules or the tissue and towards the drug moieties. Such as lidocaine has the greater affinity for the AAG as compared to HSA. HSA represents the human serum albumin. Example is the digoxin, which has more affinity for cardiac muscle protein as compared to the proteins of skeletal muscles or those in the plasma like HSA. Now comes on the second factor, that is a protein tissue related factor. In this category, the first is the physicochemical characteristic of the protein or binding agent. Basically, lipoproteins and adipose tissue tend to bind lipophilic drugs by dissolving them in their lipid core. The physiological periods determine the presence of active anions and cations group on the albumin molecules to bind a variety of drugs. Now comes on the concentration of protein or binding component. Basically, the plasma protein, the binding predominantly occur with the albumin as it is the present in the high concentration in the comparison to the other plasma proteins, and the amount of several proteins and tissue components available for binding changes during the disease state. Hence, during the disease condition, it may be possible the amount of proteins like albumin, human serum albumin, and others are vary. Now comes on the drug interactions. The competition between drugs for the binding site, that is known as the displacement reactions. As we know, when two or more drugs that bind to the same site, the competition between them for interacting with the binding site occurs if one of the drug, like the drug 1, is having bound to the such a site, then administration of another drug D2, having affinity for the same site, result in the displacement of a drug first from its binding site. Such a drug interaction for the common binding site is called the displacement interaction. The drug first called as the displaced drug and the drug second is called as the displacer. The common example is the warfarin and phenylbutazone, which having the same degree of affinity for the human serum albumin. The administration of phenylbutazone to the patient on warfarin therapy result in displacement of latter from its binding site. The free warfarin may cause adverse hemorrhagic reaction which may be lethal. Phenylbutazone is also known to displace sulfonamide from their human serum albumin binding site. Displacement reactions can result in unexpected rise in free concentration of displaced drug which may enhance clinical response or cause the toxicity. Now comes on the competition between drug and normal body tissue. The free fatty acids are known to interact with number of drugs that bind primarily to the human serum albumin. The free fatty acid level increase in physiological or pathological conditions. like when the we are fasting, or in case of different disease condition like diabetes or myocardial infarction, then the it may chances that increase the free fatty acid. The fatty acid which also bind to the albumin influence the binding of several benzodiazepines and propranolol. Bilirubin binding to the human serum albumin can be impaired by certain drugs, and it is great concern in neonates whose blood blood-brain barrier and the bilirubin metabolizing capacity are not very efficient. Now comes on the next factor, that is the allosteric changes in the protein molecules. Basically, drug can affect the protein binding interaction. The process involves alteration of the protein structure by the drug or its metabolite, thereby modifying its binding capacity. For example, the agent that produce such an effect is called as allosteric effectors, like aspirin. Acetylates the lysine fraction of albumin, thereby modifying its capacity to the bind and esters, like phenylbutazone. Now comes on the fourth, that is the patient-related factors. In case of the patient-related factor, the first factor is the age. The modification in protein drug binding are influenced by the age of the patient is mainly due to the difference in the protein content in various age groups, like neonates which have the low albumin content, hence more free drugs are available. So dose is required for adjustment. In case of a young infant, an interesting example of difference in protein drug binding in infants is that of digoxin. Infants suffering from congestive cardiac failure are given a digitalizing dose 4 to 6 times the adult dose on body weight basis. This is contrary to the one's belief that infants should be given low dose considering their poorly developing drug elimination system. The reason attributed for use of large digoxin dose is greater binding of drug in infants, elderly. In old ages, the albumin content is lower and free concentration drug that bind primarily to it is increased. The old age is also characterized by an increase in the level of alpha aminoglobulin, and thus decreased free concentration is observed for drugs that bind to alpha aminoglobulin. The second is the intersubject variability. In case of the intersubject variability in drug binding are studied with few drugs showed that the difference is small and no more than twofold. These differences have been attributed to genetic or environmental factors. Now comes on the disease state. Basically, the several pathological conditions are associated with the alteration in the protein content. Since albumin is the major drug binding protein, the hypoalbuminemia can severely impair the protein drug binding. Basically, this is the tableted form for the different disease conditions which impart or affect the protein binding of the drug. In case of the renal failure, like uremia, it decreases the albumin content, hence decrease the binding of the acidic drug, but neutral and basic drug are unaffected. In case of the hepatic failure, it decreases the albumin synthesis and decrease the binding of the acidic drug, and binding of the basic drug or normal drug may be normal or decreased depending upon the AAG levels. In case of the inflammatory state like trauma or surgery, the AAG levels is increased, which increase the binding of the basic drug. Neutral and acidic drug are unaffected. Now comes on the significance of protein or tissue binding of drug. First, basically tissue or protein binding of drug may affect the various process, pharmacological or pharmacokinetic process like the absorption. As we know that the conventional dose from follow first order kinetics, so when there is a more protein binding, then it disturbs the absorption equilibrium. Distribution. A protein bound drug in particular dose does not cross the blood brain barrier, the placental barrier, the glomerulus, because it increases the molecular size of the complex. Thus, protein binding decreases the distribution of drug. Metabolism. Basically, the protein binding decreases the metabolism of drug and enhances the biological half-life. Only unbound fraction is get metabolized by the different enzymes. Elimination. We know that only the unbound drug is capable for being eliminated. Hence, the protein binding prevents the entry of drug to the metabolizing organ like liver, hence and to the glomerulus filtration, hence influence the elimination of the drug. The common example is the tetracycline is eliminated mainly by the glomerular filtration. If it is bind to the drug, bind to the protein, then it affects the glomerular filtration. Now, next is the systemic solubility of drug. The lipoproteins act as a vehicle for hydrophobic drugs like steroid, heparin, oil soluble vitamins. Hence, it increases the solubility of the hydrophobic drug. Drug action. The protein binding inactivates the drug because sufficient concentration of drug cannot be built up in the receptor site for the action. Hence, it decreases the action of the drug. Protein binding also helps in the sustained release. The complex of drug protein in the blood act as a reservoir and continuously supply of the free drug. The common example is the suramine sodium protein binding for the anti-tryptophanemal action. It also helps in the diagnosis like the chlorine atom of chloroquine replaced with the radiolabel iodine 131 can be used to visualize the melanomas of eyes and disorder of the thyroid gland. This is all about the protein binding of the drug. Thank you.